Do you have a Ninja 300 motorcycle and you're trying to replace the handlebar end caps? Do you just have a racing motorcycle or any other kind of motorcycle for that matter, and you want to take those end caps off the handlebars so you can either swap them out or swap out the whole handlebar piece? Hi, my name is CRICHILDS, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to remove the end caps from your Ninja 300 or from any motorcycle for that matter using a really simple technique that literally costs less than 50 bucks with all the supplies, and it takes about an hour to do. So I'm going to tell you real quick before we get into that, kind of the backstory of why I even figured this out. And it started out with somebody knocking over my motorcycle on one side. And I was really kind of frustrated, but I went ahead and talked to my insurance company. They helped me repair it. And I got a check for it, and I was going to go do the repairs myself because it was really not that complex. So I had to replace the radiator, and I also had to replace the front left side and front right side and front left side handlebars, and it damaged the plastics a little bit, but I figured I'd just go ahead and ride it anyways. I can replace the plastics later, it's not a big deal. And it took me about 2 weeks to get these parts in place. Once I got the parts in, which the parts only cost about $45 per bar, and then for tools it's maybe like 20-30 bucks, because you need a blow dryer and you need a socket wrench and a regular screwdriver. And once you have those things, then you can go ahead and you can do the replacement yourself. So once I got the parts in, I did them kind of in phases. I first replaced the front fairing that was also damaged whenever the person knocked it over, and then I replaced the handlebars, and the handlebars took me a little bit longer because I had to figure out through trial and error, which I'm going to show you what I did so you can learn what not to do. So what we do basically is you get the handlebar, you get the blow dryer, and you heat up the handlebars because they have something called red lock tight, and this red lock is like a compound. It's kind of like a super glue, but for motorcycle parts. And so they put it on the inside threading of the screw, and if you don't heat it up first, it'll actually cause you to strip the screw, even though it's a big screw. So what you want to do is you want to put the blow dryer directly on the end cap of the handlebar and do it for about 7 minutes on high heat. You want to go really high temperature. What that will do is that will apply heat transfer to the red Loctite and melt it. And then once it's melted, you can actually loosen it up and you can get enough torque. Now I recommend doing a socket wrench because you'll get more torque on it because it's a lever system versus using a screwdriver, which you got to be really strong to do. Which I'm strong enough to do it, but it just becomes a lot of wear and tear on your hands. So instead I would just do a socket wrench because you can get a lot more torque on it. So I'm going to show you how I did that as well in the video. And then also too, if you need some like recommendations or anything, I'll put some links down below. Basically a blow dryer, just go get it at Target, Walmart, you can get it at CVS or order it on Amazon. The socket wrench set, you can pick it up over at your local parts store or you can order on Amazon. And then you need a screwdriver piece. You want to get a pretty fat screwdriver head, and it's just the attachment, usually with a power drill combo it comes with. So you would just slide that into the socket wrench set, and then you want to get like a socket wrench. I think it's like a 1/4 inch socket wrench. Again, just kind of measure it up and match it, and then once you got it in place, then all you got to do is just basically follow the steps in the video, heat up the compound, then torque it, and then you're good. If you need to replace your handlebars, then I'll also link the handlebars that I found. They're just 45 bucks a handlebar, and if you go to the manufacturer's website, there's something like $150 per handlebar. So it's kind of expensive. I ended up swapping everything out for just about 200 bucks, and then I still have to replace the fairings, but I'm going to be doing that at a little bit later time. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, guys. So these are the end caps, and there's not just a screwdriver here, a Phillips head, but there's also actually a sealant in here as well that causes this to be really difficult to get off. So what you have to do is you actually have to heat it up with either a heat gun or a blow dryer. So I'm just going to use my wife's blow dryer and see if that's enough to get this off. But you can see, if you look at the angle of the handlebar, normally it's supposed to go like this. See how it's bent right here? So normally it's supposed to jet out exactly in alignment with that. Same thing with this guy over here. Not as bad on this side, but still both sides have been damaged. And the plastics are actually not that bad because it fell mostly on the handlebar. So when you go to squeeze, the, you can see how much off it is. It's normally supposed to be about level with this right here. So that's how much it got bent up. All right, so these guys, go right in here. Okay, just insert them like this. And screw it in. And we need this size, just a little bit bigger, smaller than this, to unlock this. That should take the clutch off. And then we need to disassemble the throttle and remove it, slide it off. I'm thinking we just take off this end cap. So yeah, let's get right into it. I'm gonna do a time lapse probably for the heating part and then see if it works. Oh, and here are the new handlebars. So what we have to do is we have to actually unseat these guys right here. You guys can see that. You have to actually unseat these caps right here once you take the cap off. And you got this little socket wrench, and I think I should have, yep, socket wrench, or excuse me, an Allen wrench set. And you just find the right size Allen wrench, a little bit too big. There we go. So it's this guy. And then we just fit it right there in the hole and then just loosen it up. So.
Okay, so one thing to point out is that this is not actually the best technique. The best technique is to hold it right at the end and just put it right on the end cap.
All right, so it's pretty hot now. I'm gonna try and see if I can loosen it up. Just get like a screwdriver. I'm gonna try and get a Phillips head screwdriver, which I don't think I have, so I'm just gonna try and use this guy. It's a pretty small flat head, and that's not gonna work. So, might need a breaker bar. You don't want to strip the screw either. This needs to be a deeper one. All right, so I got an actual flat head, or Phillips head now. See if this works. Oh, it's a little bit too tight. All right, so I tried to get it with a normal screwdriver, too much torque. It requires too much torque. I tried to get it with a screwdriver head with a wrench, with a socket wrench. Too much torque again. It was starting to strip the screw. You can kind of see it's starting to get stripped, so I don't want to fuck it up too much. I want to leave some threading on there. That's actually really hard to see with that stupid shininess. It was getting really hot though, which is a good thing. You can see that it's starting to get stripped a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can rent an impact drill just for a couple hours and just torque those out. And then once I get those torqued out, strip off all of this equipment and then put on the new handlebars and reassemble the unit with the end caps on. And hopefully that fixes that won't hopefully fix that. It will fix the handlebar issue, but hopefully I can get these off without stripping the screws. So if you strip the screws, it's a whole nother problem. So, all right, so awesome news. I was able to find within about 5 minutes a impact driver that's available using the Ruckify app, which if you guys haven't heard about the Ruckify app, I used it to rent out some paddle boards that we had. We basically tripled our money on a paddle board, and then we went ahead and invested in some from China, which didn't go as well as we planned, but you know, you live and you learn. So this Ruckify app is pretty cool because it's a peer-to-peer sharing marketplace. So rather than having to go over to Home Depot, which currently is out of stock on their impact drivers, I can just go on the app and I can find somebody that already has the tool and I can rent it directly from the person. So they pocket some money and I also get the use of a tool that I don't have to spend $300-400 on that I'm gonna use just once. So if you guys haven't already checked it out, check out Ruckify. It's the Ruckify app. And they're a Canadian-based company, but they started out this basically Airbnb for everything. So if I wanted to rent out these headphones, if I wanted to rent out my motorcycle, if I wanted to rent out some tools, I could do all that. And they even have free delivery as well, available for some people that are looking to book this stuff. So check it out if you haven't already. It's Ruckify, and you can find it in the Amazon, as well as also the Google Play Store, and also on the Apple Store too. Yeah, my experience overall was pretty good. I had a pretty decent return on my investment. I spent, I think, $300 on a paddleboard, and I got back almost $1,000 in about 2 months. So it's pretty good ROI. And anything beyond that, we're just making profit on. So the big thing is how to automate it and how to set up a system where I don't have to physically show up or spend my time to be able to get the return on investment. Because that's what I'm a really big fan of, is how to automate your time, how to automate your, how to create systems and automate so that you don't have to spend your time doing things. Occasionally I still like to just repair things like this, fix things myself. So I'll keep you guys updated on once I got the impact drill, how it's working out with the handlebars. All right, so a quick little update. Oops, shit, lost a little bit. So I did a little bit more research online, and I can't find an impact driver to be able to fix my handlebars. So what I did instead was I went back to YouTube, watched some more videos, and I think what I did was I didn't have the heater on long enough, the blow dryer. So what I did was I set a timer on my watch for 10 minutes and I just blow dried. And I think the technique was wrong too. So instead of doing this around the edges, I just held it straight on and just literally touched the end to the actual cap and touched it. And that seemed to heat it up enough to where just with a socket wrench and this little wide head, I was able to get it to move. So I would say if you're having trouble getting this end cap off, just make sure you hold it on there for at least 5 minutes. I'd say even go like 7 to 10 minutes. That should heat it up enough. It's really, really hot. You can feel the heat permeating without even touching it. I can feel the heat on the back of my hand. So just make sure you have it contacting this, and that should get it to come on right off. Just like a one-handed thing. It's really not that hard. You got to do a little bit of jerking in the beginning, but it should just come right off. And there's that red Loctite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just swap out these handlebars because they're bent. Alrighty, there you go. This actually has some sort of epoxy or some sort of glue on there. So if you heat up the actual rubber piece, that should also peel off pretty easily. I just peeled it right back, and it doubled in on itself. So then I'll be able to flip it back around whenever I go back the opposite way. Or you can also replace them with new ones. Check this out. Look at the angle. It's supposed to go straight. All right, so this is kind of the difference between the two bars. You can see they're both pretty much flat on the counter, and that's the difference. So you get, there you go. You can see how much of a bend that guy has. That is literally horizontal. So. Alright guys, so key takeaways from this video are I learned that I needed to really make sure that I had a blow dryer on the end of that metal cap like I was telling you about, and just apply it directly. Just let it actually contact the end cap, and then also hold it there for about 7 minutes. If you hold it there for like 3-4 minutes, it's not going to be enough to heat it up and really make that epoxy melt. What you want to do is you want to put it right on the end cap, hold it for 7 minutes, set a timer on your watch or do it on your phone, and that way you know that it's long enough. And don't go based off the heat test. Set it for 7 minutes and let it melt that. And then once it's finally melted, then apply some pressure, go to the end, make sure you hold it with 2 hands and go to the end and torque it, and that'll take that right off. And then once you've got that off, then it's really easy to change it out. I also learned too that you don't actually have to peel off the handle grip off that plastic piece. You can just unscrew the motorcycle throttle assembly, and you can just pull the whole thing off, and so that way it makes it a lot easier. So kind of did it the hard way this time around. If I do another video of swapping it out, I'll go ahead and link that in the comments below as well. But that way it's just easier for you guys, because I'd like for you to save some time, and that way you're not having to spend the 4 hours like I did learning how to do this through trial and error, but rather you're able to just piggyback off this video and go over and do it for yourself for a half hour, an hour. So hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit the bell icon, hit the subscribe, and then hit the bell icon to get notified when we come out with a future video. Give this a thumbs up, it helps the algorithm, and also share it with your friends, anybody that's riding motorcycles. And also too, if you want to check out any other videos on my channel, I talk about business, personal finance, about investing, and about saving money doing things yourself. So hope to see you guys next time.